What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Cadillac Cartoonz, and today I'm going to show you how to draw a black eye. Now, the way I draw eyes, it's pretty stylized, so it's not going to be the standard way to draw regular eyes as you may see in drawing books, drawing classes, whatnot. This is my specific style, so what I'm doing in today's video might not be applied to whatever you're doing if you're trying to base your drawing off of a specific style. But if you do have your own style but you don't know how to draw a black eye, this can be a starting point for you. But today I'm going to show you my stylized version of drawing a black eye, and I'm going to color it too, so ready to have your supplies ready. But for now I'm going to show you how to draw it. So as you can see here, I got a line that goes across my page, and that's supposed to be the eye line, which the eyes are supposed to lie on, like this one over here. The eye is supposed to lie on this line, and so is the other one. But this eye is going to be a black eye, so it's not going to look exactly like this one. It's going to look a lot different. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to pick a little starting point. Like, this is going to be the center of the eye. Now I'm going to keep this center right here, but if you want, you can take a ruler or your pencil and just draw a line right there. In case you want your black eye to be symmetrical, that's totally up to you. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw sort of like a football shape, but instead of it being an actual football shape, it's actually going to taper at both ends, because just like this eye, see how it's like a hamburger shape, like a hamburger bun shape? It's going to come sloping off of this end like so on each end. Sort of like a clamshell shape. Or really like your realistic eye. A shape that looks something like this. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw this shape as if it were extended up all the way up here and down here. So right here where this line stops, hopefully you can see that on camera, we're going to take this point, we're going to extend it out just a little bit, and we're going to make that same curve going all the way up here. Kind of like a hill shape. It's supposed to look something like a hill, the way I'm drawing it. And then we're going to come back down and finish it. And then we're going to do the same thing at the bottom, but it won't be as tall as this one. It should be just a little bit lower. Something like that. And then we're going to make a series of these lines in this big area here. And it doesn't matter how many you have there, as long as it's, I want to say, at least 4. So let's just draw that same line. Then another one. Then another one. And another one. And then again the same thing at the bottom, but it's going to be a lot less. So you can probably fit like 3 in this area. But if you run out of space just like how I did, you can add another one, just as long as it's not too many. But what I have here should be good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the iris, which is just a circle, and then the pupil. Okay, so we got the black eye drawn already. So now I'm going to take my ink pen and start inking. Alright, so I finished inking the illustration, and before I get into coloring it, I'm just going to talk about a few things. So as you can see, after I started inking, I left this space and this space empty, because I want there to be sort of like a transition between whatever color the skin tone is and whatever color the black eye is going to be. But when I'm coloring this, I'm going to use markers. So even then, I can choose to add a transition to that, or choose not to. It's up to me. And also, I wanted to add some thickness to the eyes themselves, because after I finish the illustration, I kind of want these to stand out. Both this eyelid and this one. So that way my viewers can tell a distinct difference between this eye and this eye. Specifically in size and shape. Because the bottom eyelid doesn't show over here. It shows here though. And because of that, I can show my viewers a distinct difference between this eye, a normal eye that I usually draw, and the black eye. Alright, so now that we're done talking, I can begin coloring this. Okay, now as you can tell from the speed drawing, I've saved the best for last. So let's get into it. Now the first thing I'm going to do when drawing a black eye is I'm going to use a light pink and color in the white parts. I don't know the specific name for it, but this is what we're going to color in. Everything outside of the iris. The white parts of the eye. So I used R11 as a Copic marker, and I'm going to use R22 to help blend. So I'm going to make it into like a pink eye type thing. So I'm going to give it like another layer of red. Get enough layers in there. And then blend. Alright, so we got ourselves a pink eye. Actually, I'm going to blend this out a little bit more. Okay, and now we're going to color in the eyes. You can use whatever color combination you can use to color in the eyes. You can make them blue, you can make them brown, you can make them hazel, you can make them green. Whatever color you're going to make the eyes, make sure you do it to both of them. I'm going to make both eyes brown. So, I'm going to use my E47. And just color in both eyes. And I'm going to use my E49 as a shade to help blend. And this is the darkest brown that I have in my collection. Out of all the browns I have, this is the darkest. So this will definitely serve a purpose. And just go back with my E47 and blend everything back in. Alright, and now I'm going to grab my Sharpie real quick. I'm just going to color in the pupil here. Give that a little darken. Maybe just add another layer over here. And then I'm also gonna color in the eyebrows too. Alright, and that's how you draw everything else but the black eye. Now we can actually start drawing the black eye because that's all that's left. Alright, so I'm going to take another Copic marker, which is V12. And see how this marker is actually close to the same value as the skin tone? Which makes it easy to apply a transition if I want one. So we're just going to color in this entire section. Alright, so we got one portion of it drawn already. Now I'm going to take a shade of V12, which is V15, and add some shading to it, both on the left and the right hand sides. And then we're gonna blend those out real quick. Alright, now we're gonna add an even darker color, which is V17, which is one of my darkest purples. And then we're actually going to go over these lines as well. The ones that we inked and drew, we're going to go over those lines with this Copic marker. But now that I've already finished that, we're going to go back in with our B15. And instead of applying some blends along here, we're actually going to apply some on the edges where I said the transitions were going to be. So that way we got a smooth transition from this dark color, this dark purple, to our B12, which is our base tone. We want a smooth transition between that dark purple and that. So we're going to apply this V15 to both sides. Alright. And then we're going to go back with our V12 and blend everything back together. Alright, so we got the black eye pretty much colored and everything, but we're not done yet. We want to be able to add a little bit more shading to make it look more dynamic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a purple colored pencil and I'm going to try to get that to be a little bit more dark. Add a little bit of enhanced shading to the piece. And I'm just going to create some shadows right above each eyelid. Alright, and now that we're done adding the purple, I can go in with a hint of black on each eyelid and try to make it a little bit more darker. Okay, so our black eye is looking pretty good. Now since black eyes, or at least the way I'm envisioning it in my head, I feel that it has a hint of red mixed inside of it. So I'm going to take a slightly red colored pencil. It says pomegranate on it. And I'm just going to scribble in some red. Just get a little hint of red in there, because that's what it needs. Alright, and then one more thing that I want to add, or if I can add, I'm going to take a light colored pencil and I'm just going to add some highlights. And the reason I said if I can is to see if it'll show up on camera. I mean, it just might. In fact, let me grab my white colored pencil instead. Yeah, that's much better. But a white colored pencil really adds like a finishing touch to the piece. That's how I like to treat this tool, as like a finishing touch. because this step, like I'm doing it right now, comes at the end. Alright, and then once you're done adding the highlights, you're pretty much done. Now, one more thing, just one. That's it. One more thing I want to add is, since these things have eyes, I'm just going to use my gel pen and add some highlights to the eyes. Because I feel like that's also a finishing touch too. Well, I ended up using a paint pen, but it's still the same thing, adding highlights or whatever. But anyways, that's how you draw and color a black eye. And all the supplies that I use in this video will pop up somewhere on the screen, so you guys can do this for yourself. But if you like the video, or if you find it useful, give it a like and a comment. Subscribe if you haven't, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And I'll see you in my next video.